welcome. In this video, I'm sharing my 3 favorite crystals for the Virgo New Moon and how to use them in ritual. But before I get started into that, I want to share with you a really personal story about how I got started working with lunar energy and why it's so meaningful to me. My name is Ashley Levy, and I'm the founder and educational director of the Love and Light School of Crystal Therapy. I know how important this work is based on my own experience, so I want to share it with you today so that you might find some of the same healing and comfort through working with the moon as I have. A little over 5 years ago, my life was interrupted pretty dramatically when I needed to have a hysterectomy just 2 weeks before my 29th birthday. This wasn't entirely devastating for me because I had long before decided not to have children, but it still hit me in quite an unexpected way. My personal choice to not have children felt really positive and even somewhat empowering, but when that choice was completely taken away from me, part of me really grieved for what I might have lost. Over the next few years, I struggled silently with grieving a part of myself that I hadn't really realized was so important to me. Part of me really felt incomplete, and I felt a longing for a reconnection with this part of myself that had been lost. And these feelings completely took me by surprise. I had no idea this was going to happen, but I knew I needed to do something to feel empowered again. So my journey to connecting with the divine feminine began. This wasn't about gender, it was about energy, the energy of the sacred feminine. So I spent my days meditating, connecting with goddesses, and creating rituals for myself. Naturally, my love of crystals kind of ensured that they were a regular part of just about everything I was doing, but I started to develop a new passion. I became enamored with the moon. I fell in love with learning all I could about staying in rhythm with her natural cycles and flows, and perhaps for that need for connection kind of arose from the absence of my own feminine cycle. Or maybe it was just because I was awakening to something larger that's taking place in our world. But whatever the reason, living in alignment with lunar energy became a deep part of who I am. Tuning into the rhythm of the moon helped me heal. I spent many hours journaling and sketching about the spiritual moon work that I was doing. And one evening, while I was connecting with some amazing women in an online goddess circle, I shared a few of the ways that I had been working with the moon in my own spiritual practice. And it was then that I realized just how powerful this work was and how much I needed to share it with others as part of my own journey toward wholeness and completion. I realized in that moment of sharing that it wasn't just me who was feeling disconnected from the natural world and from the seasonal cycles and from my own inner power and energy. Many others I spoke with were feeling the same way. We've become so far removed from nature that we've forgotten how to live in harmony with the world around us. One of the easiest ways to repair this connection is to live in alignment with the energy of the moon and to let her guide our actions so that we can become aware of our place in the universe again. As part of my work with lunar energy, I began learning about the distinct energies of each monthly full moon, the lunar phases, and how the moon's influence changes as it moves through different constellations in the zodiac. The night sky can be divided more or less into 12 sections, one relating to each of the constellations of the zodiac. And as the moon travels around the Earth, it passes through the sections of the different zodiac constellations. This is referred to as entering or being in a particular zodiac sign. Since the moon makes its rotation around the Earth pretty quickly in just about 29 days, it moves into a new sign every 2 or 3 days. So think of the 29-day lunar cycle divided by the 12 zodiac sections. It's about 2.5 days in each sign. When the moon enters a specific sign, it takes on the energetic qualities of it. And that's how astrologers create lunar forecasts describing what to expect as the moon enters each sign. Since the moon has such a strong influence on us, the lunar zodiac becomes quite important in explaining the cosmic energies that shape our experiences. So what does all this have to do with the Virgo moon? Well, when the moon is in Virgo, you'll feel at ease by keeping things orderly and organized. Some crystals for the Virgo new moon are emerald, green aventurine, and moss agate. And keywords here are your career, dedication, determination, health, and loyalty. So let's discuss each of these 3 crystals individually, and then I'll teach you a simple Virgo moon ritual for working with your crystals. First, let's discuss emerald. It's all too easy to get swept up in your own thoughts during this time, but emerald gently reminds you to get out of your head and into your heart every once in a while. Work with emerald if you feel your mind buzzing with activity and you need a moment of stillness. This crystal also reminds you to check in with your feelings before acting or making big decisions. Next, let's look at green aventurine. This stone encourages practicality, something that Virgo's ruling planet Mercury demands during this time. Organization, schedules, and routines are important during the Virgo moon, but not if they overcomplicate things. Green aventurine helps you be mindful about what's helping you be more successful and what's just getting in the way. Finally, let's get to know moss agate. This earthy stone is a favorite for physical healing. Work with moss agate to put the Virgo moon energy to good use by creating a new workout routine, meditation practice, or weekly meal plan. If you feel like you don't have time or energy to care for your physical body, moss agate helps you make it a priority. With the energy of the Virgo moon supporting you, it feels easy to start new, healthy habits. Now it's time for our crystal ritual for the Virgo moon. During the time of the Virgo moon, light a green candle, pick up a moss agate stone, look at the candle flame, and start to think about your physical body. What can you do to improve your physical health? Do you need to eat better or exercise more, have more quiet time, maybe add some energy healing into your routine? When you're ready, write down a list of things that you can do to nourish your body. Then hold your crystal while you transfer your list into your calendar. Schedule these activities in, both big and small, so that you have time to hold space for them in your routine. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this work. So if you need to substitute out some of the crystals that I mentioned or switch up the color of your candle, that's okay. Just make it work for you. And this is honestly one of my favorite things about working with crystals. Customizing grids, layouts, recipes, and crystal rituals is really what makes this practice special and personal to you. And although this ritual is great to do on the evening of the Virgo moon, remember that the moon spends about 2.5 days in each constellation. So you have a few days to try this out if you miss it on the first evening. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you'll also love my book, Cosmic Crystals, Rituals and Meditations for Connecting with Lunar Energy, where I go super in-depth about crystals for working with the moon. And if you want to learn even more about crystals, feel free to visit my website at loveandlightschool.com or connect with me on social at Love and Light School. Be sure to leave a comment below to tell me what you thought about this video and whether or not you think you'll give this ritual a try. Until next time, crystal blessings.